I mean, so yeah, he only killed 3 of his wives, but that's 3 more than most people do.
I have killed 0 of my wives.
I haven't.
Ash and Zach are super smart. They went to college and learned a bunch of stuff. And Beau and Andrew didn't go to college because that's the way life goes sometimes. What happens when you put them together and you try to make them learn? Grab your friends, let's listen together on Get Dumped on an Info Dump podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to Get Dumped On, an Info Dump podcast. We are going to be doing our podcast for you today. Oh no.
This is great. You're doing great.
Oh, Jesus. Today, so this is the podcast where Ash and I take turns info dumping our special interests and weird things that we've researched upon our good friends Andrew and Beau, who are here today. Well, everyone say hi to the listeners at home.
Hi. Thank you so much for listening.
Hi, my name is Andrew. I'm a good friend, not family.
Hey, my name's Andrew, and I'm family.
That's yeah. Hey, check the
That's
Get
Beau.
Dumped On wiki for the complex map of our relationships. Just and
very
family
complex.
trees and such
Very,
like. It's
very
basic.
complex.
It's basically a Song of Ice and Fire.
Except not the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, exactly. This episode, Ash will be dumping on some fun stories of historical pets. And I'm very excited to see what they have come up with. And why don't you join us? Why don't you join us and listen to what Ash has to say? Because I bet it's going to be really great. Ash, let's get started.
I think that today we're just going to have a nice, fun little time taking a short tour through the history of the evidence of pets in the human past. One of the things that I usually touch on in these podcasts that I do is, I don't know, like the persistency of humanity. Like, humanity is the same. People are just people. And one of those things is having pets. I love my pets. I think we're all animal people here.
Yeah, everyone talk about your pets. Tell stories
Beau, you
about pets.
start.
Andrew. Oh yeah, Beau, who are your pets?
I don't have pets.
Beau, this is truth time.
Yeah, I don't have pets.
If you lie in the podcast, that makes you a liar.
They're not mine.
You live with
Which
some
are-
real cute little cats, though.
Yeah, I live with those are my kids. My
Oh.
pets are my kids. No, I have 2 cats. Shelly and May. Don't make the name surprise you. They're boys. They're nice kitties.
They're as cute as little buttons. They're so cute.
Yeah, they're pretty great.
Did you see Shelly yesterday? We had sitting on the kitchen table like he's about to eat. What are you doing? You're a cat, not a person.
Just a little scamp.
Classic. And your sister has an internet famous cat, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm. There's Guillermo. If you ever want to see what cat it is, just Google Guillermo, my chicken. And then you'll see what we're talking about.
How's he doing these days?
He's doing good. He was also featured on Ridiculousness as well.
Internet and television famous.
Mm-hmm.
Guillermo.
That cat is more famous
So
than any of us will ever be.
It really is.
And he deserves it.
He does.
No, he doesn't. He's a dick.
He worked for that chicken.
The best part about that video too, if you go look at it, you hear the background song. All you hear is, "I was gonna run from the cops, but then I got high."
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Just let it happen.
And then
sorry.
I got chicken.
Andrew, how about you tell us about your pets?
Well, I'm sorry that my dogs aren't famous.
They
I
should be,
wish they
though.
were.
Little
There
angels.
should be.
So I have 2 dogs. One is named Professor Perry C. Barkerson III, headmaster of archaeology. He's a fluffy little bastard, and I love him. And the other fluffy little bastard is Dr. Frankenstein. They are both adorable, and they actually do have an Instagram. It is Frankie and Perry. So feel free to follow them. My wife takes care. I don't post on that. It's all my wife, but they are very cute.
I
And
follow
love
them, and I like
They
all
are
of their
very
posts.
cute.
They're
And
2
Zach and
little
I
fluffy boys.
Very
have
2 wonderful cats who we love very much.
They're very good boys. Their names are Barnaby and Lucama. And Barnaby gets in the way and interrupts podcast recording sessions on a regular basis, whereas Luca also likes to jump up on my desk and knock everything off of it. But I love them so very, very much.
It's true. Luca has turned off your computer before.
Luca has
I
turned
remember
off my
playing
computer
games with
before.
you, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you disappear, and we're like, "What happened?" And you're like, "Luca jumped on my computer and turned it off."
He steps on the button.
Just
That's
a little
why-
scamp.
When I got a new desk, I was like, oh, good. I can put it under the desk so he can't step on it anymore.
And we'll find throughout history that cats are cats and dogs are dogs. Do y'all grow up with
To
pets?
answer your question, yeah, obviously Ash and I grew up together. So we had cats and dogs and that's it.
I've always enjoyed the company of animals.
Oh, yeah, always. I had, growing up, when I was 4 or 5 or 6, somewhere in that range, we got a golden retriever named Riley. He died a few years later because he was already old when we got him. And then we had this little puppy named Harley, and he was amazing. Harley was great. He was big, black, and fluffy, but he was very skinny under all of his fluff. He was very cute, and he was great. But then he died when he was like 12, as dogs are wont to do.
You don't have to talk about their deaths. You could
Like,
just
Yeah, you're really bumming me out.
And I really
Yeah,
don't
I'm
think dogs
sorry.
want to die. I think they just
No,
do die.
want our want
as they do. You know?
want with an O.
Won't die, so this dog lived forever.
Immortal dogs.
I guess this
It's
is my fault for
what
bringing
is
in a
Zach like? I'm
$5
gonna be
word.
like, this is Zach. You know, he's gonna die one day, as you do.
Yeah, as you do.
As he's wont to do, you know?
Well, and then I adopted a dog with the intent for her to be my dog after college. And her name was Moxie, and she's great, and she's so good,
Is she
and I love her.
dead?
She's
no,
still
she's
alive.
she's still alive. She's a
doing
good girl.
fine.
Now I have to
Uh,
ask that question.
But she lives with my parents, so I got her with the intent that like she would be my dog. But then it turns out that my plans did not work out, and so then I said, "Hey, mom and dad, would you like to keep Moxie so that you can have a dog?" And it worked
Okay,
out
wow, this is a
perfectly.
really in-depth look at your former pets. I didn't expect it to be this detailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is. We can cut this out. We can cut.
I
This
thought
out.
you would be like,
Oh
I
no,
had
we're not
dogs
cutting this
growing
out.
up. Zach actually was not a cat guy before he and I got together.
Not at all.
And when we were moving in together, I was like, hey, just so you know, like, we're going to get a cat. Like, it is what it is. We're going to get a cat. And Zach was like, yeah, sure.
I'm
okay.
trying so hard to convince my wife to get a cat.
You need a
And
hairless
most
cat, though,
people who I
right? Because
know,
isn't she allergic?
You
she's
want me to talk
allergic.
to her?
She's allergic to
I'll talk.
dogs too, which our dogs are hypoallergenic, and it works fine. There are hypoallergenic cats, so I was trying to convince her, but
Well, kitty
she
cat.
claims that cats sense her fear and take advantage of it, which is probably true. I mean, cats are very mysterious and sometimes creepy, but in general, they're really sweet,
You want me-
fluffy little
You want me
babies.
to talk? You want to talk to her? I'll convince her.
I have a theory that cats know what crime is, and they do it on purpose.
They do, and I'm not going to go that far into it, but cats are they socially engineer humans, where dogs are just like, let's fucking party.
Oh, let's get into this episode. I'm so excited. Okay, so when looking at Beau, did you have any childhood pets that you wanted to tell us their birthday and
Hey, Beau, did you have pets?
yeah, do you have pets growing
Are
up
they
you want to
dead?
talk about?
When did they die?
Oh, so
Give us the days and their afflictions.
How did they die? Was it
Please don't.
tragic?
Okay,
Actually,
all of
please
our
don't.
dogs were very well loved, and they died at healthy ages. But when you're 30, when you're in your 30s, George Carlin has to say, life is just a series of dogs, and it's sad, but it's true. Beau, tell us about your dogs.
Yeah, tell us when they died.
I don't want to. I passed on so quickly. So just
Notable dogs
Thanks for-
in my childhood were Kaya the Golden Retriever, Xena
Oh,
the German
yeah.
Shepherd, and
Oh,
Gus
yeah.
the Border Collie. And then
Ghost.
shout out to Gizmo and Hamlet and Kirby, best cats.
Edie's.
Beatrice also was very good.
Zach ate up all
That's
my
great.
time. I was going to tell my pets, but Zach's long.
No,
His
I
life
wanna
is
hear
like-
it. Just because I went long doesn't mean you can't go long.
Yes,
too.
of course I had pets growing up. I had that pet and this one. There's that one.
Cats
No,
and
I-
dogs, a mix of both, a horse maybe?
I had cats, dogs, hamsters, birds, fishes. I don't know.
Fishes.
I got
Never
a-
been into keeping fish myself.
I'm a big fish
I
I
guy,
got
don't
a
like
leopard
things in
gecko.
cages.
but I
I
love
had
my
a leopard gecko. His name was Buddy. I got him.
Hmm.
Oh, sorry.
Still
Oh,
my
I
turn.
didn't mean to
Still my
interrupt you
turn.
again. I'm sorry.
Alright,
I thought
still
we were
going.
just
No, I'm
sharing
done.
stories.
Go ahead.
No,
Tell us about your
We're
gecko.
sorry.
9 minutes into this podcast.
Tell me
Beau,
tell me
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
All about your
I wanna
gecko.
hear more
And when
about
did he
it.
die? Huh?
This
Did
is
you give me your
spiraling.
parents?
He died.
Remember at the
Okay,
beginning,
all right,
Ash was
all
like,
right.
we're just going to have a fun podcast about pets, and now we're
Yeah,
arguing.
Zach had to talk about his dogs dying, and then I really just fixated on that. Okay.
Yeah.
So when talking about pets,
Buddy was my gecko, and he lived for
Oh my-
22
what?
years. He lived
Yeah,
for
very
22
old.
years.
the oldest leopard gecko I ever saw was 29. So Buddy was pretty old.
I loved him. He's buried at our old house.
Ashley, this is one of those moments you just got to take over.
Yeah, I'm going. So we're
I'm
talking
sorry.
about pets in human history. It becomes difficult to define what is a pet because humans' relationships with pets vary cross-culturally and globally, and they varied through time. What is a pet? When it's being used for meat, can you still call that a pet? What if it's like purely livestock? It's the line is blurry, and we'll never exactly know. So
I also had a turtle. He's still alive. He lives
Oh
to
my
the
God, you're still going. Stop.
okay, well, true.
You have to stop.
So dogs were arguably the first domestic animal. They were tamed for work. Sometimes were used for fur or meat. No one's quite sure when the dog was domesticated.
It has to be like in the Viking times or something. It has to
It was
be.
before that. It was likely not a singular event, especially looking at the genomics. The DNA supports that it was not one singular domestication event, but rather kind of happened multiple places from multiple wolf lineages. But people and dogs were definitely had a relationship at least 8,000 years ago, maybe even as far back as 10,000 years ago. They found evidence of dog skeletons alongside of humans, but they also found one instance of a small dog bone in human fecal matter. So they think that maybe people were eating them, or maybe this was just a situation in which things were scarce and they needed to eat them. I don't know. It's very unclear. It's just one little bone. But that was 10,000 years ago.
I heard that a guy named Nasir was selling chicken to people and it turned out to be dogs. And then they wrote a stone tablet about it. Call back.
But some people propose that dogs were domesticated even as far back as 16,000 years ago. And some people say that the first dogs themselves were 32,000 years ago. But genomic studies seem to suggest that dogs were domesticated around 16,000 years ago in Europe, and again 14,000 years ago in Asia from two separate wolf lineages.
Cool.
Cats have a little bit of a different story. Cats kind of domesticated themselves through their relationships with humans, and researchers think this happened a couple of times. Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt another time, but my mom just texted me a link to Afroman's because I got high.
Whoa.
We were just talking it. She literally just texted it to me with
Why
saying
is she
a high
texting
moment
you
in music
that?
history, LOL. Actually heard this on Sirius today. I don't know.
Wow,
I'm
what
sure I'll find out
serendipitous
more.
timing.
But what
Send her the
serendipitous
video
timing?
of Guillermo. Send her the video of Guillermo. I want then tell us later on when she gets back to you.
I'll do it once we're done recording. I have to
do it now. Do it now.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Live. We're doing it live. All right, Ash, go.
So cats domesticated themselves through their relationships with humans, and it probably happened multiple times across the globe. It's suspected that cats were attracted to food sources in early human agricultural settlements, or the rodents that agriculture brings. And then they followed a commensal pathway to domestication, meaning that they were domesticated through this mutualistic relationship that being around humans brought. So when you were saying, cats are smart, they are.
Yeah, they socially engineer their way through any situation. That's like if you people, everyone knows someone or have this happen to them before, where someone or have been taken advantage of. A stray cat has come up to you and been like meow meow meow, and you're like, oh fuck, it's a cat. And they're like, oh, this cat's cool as fuck. He's hanging out with me. Like, wow, like he's meowing at me. This is so cool. And then you let him in your house and then it stays forever.
Yep.
That's cat social engineering.
I want to tell a story. I want to tell a cat fact, but I don't want to steal a cat fact that you're going to tell later on, but it's very relevant for right now.
Go for it.
The oldest known breed of cat is the Egyptian Mao, which really leads me to believe that some Egyptian person just went up to a cat and was like, what's your name? And the cat went, meow. And it was like, okay.
So cute. So some of the oldest evidence of cats that we have are from China, from 5,500 to 5,200 years ago. They did. It's from a early agricultural village in the Shaanxi province in China, and they did stable isotope testing on the cats, which we've talked a little bit about stable isotope testing. We did with Utsi when we were talking about how they figured out where he grew up and stuff. And then we talked a little bit about it in the human evolution episode with the Paranthropus boisei, if you recall. So they did stable isotope testing on the cats and found that the cats that were living in this village some of them consumed more millet than rodents or wild meat, suggesting that these cats were either stealing the grain from the stores for an easy meal, or they were fed it by the inhabitants of the city.
Interesting. I didn't know cats. I thought cats were carnivores.
They are carnivores, but they can eat things that aren't meat.
Okay.
It's not like the best for them, but they can eat it.
I assume then if that was happening, they probably weren't seeking that out. So they're probably being fed that.
I think so too.
If that's
Like,
not
I
their
think that if a
natural,
cat
you know.
had a choice over the rat that was eating the grain or the grain itself, it would go for the rat, which
I
makes
agree.
me think that maybe somebody put out a little extra, millet for it and it had a little snack
I like that.
for being such a good cat and eating all of the rodents and keeping everyone from getting diseases. So genomic studies on cats suggest that they were domesticated in the Middle East in the Fertile Crescent, further supporting the hypothesis that modern day domestic cats were drawn to human agricultural settlements, because we know that the Fertile Crescent, as we just learned, was big on that, kind of was one of the earliest places. Genomic studies also say that modern day domestic cats came from the Near Eastern wildcat, which was a small bodied cat in what is now the Middle East or the Near East.
Okay. I love that.
What's funny about the cats that they found in this agricultural village in China, though, is that's outside of the range of Near Eastern wildcats. So these probably were either like a different species of small wildcat or just like some other random thing, like cat completely. So it probably wasn't exactly the same domestic cats that we have now, but it was like a small bodied cat that was hanging around this agricultural settlement, which is so cute. I want to know what they look like. They probably had stripes. So in terms of human-cat like relationships, there was a Near Eastern wildcat buried near a human grave in Cyprus 9,500 years ago, but researchers aren't quite sure of the significance of the relationship, if there was any. Cats in that period were revered for their hunting prowess, and they were kind of like seen as mythologic figures, but no one's quite sure about what this burial is about, whether like this was a cat this person knew or not, or it was just like symbolic in some way. But we know for sure that cats were kept and revered 4,000 years ago in Egypt. We know that they were domesticated by then, and they had closely revered relationships with humans. And Egypt was really big on cats. I mean, the Sphinx iconography, I think everyone kind of knows that Egypt revered cats. Is that a thing you've heard before?
Yeah. They wasn't it they were considered like they were like the keepers of the underworld or like guides or something like that?
I actually think that was the jackal dog. Hats had a different, I don't remember their exact symbolic meaning.
I'm gonna look it up while you keep talking.
But we know that they revered cats through the cat mummifications that we saw. There's paintings of cats. There's, religious iconography that has to do with felines. They found like cat jewelry and like collars and stuff. So people really loved their cats. And also the Egyptian word for cat is Mao, which Zach said. Super cute. And everyone
It says,
talks about...
Go ahead. Egyptians believed cats were magical creatures capable of bringing good luck to the people who housed them.
Well, there you go. Good luck to have a cat around. I agree.
Because they killed venomous snakes.
Yeah, that's a good thing too. And that commensal relationship of cats keeping away rodents is really at the core of cat domestication. So everyone in it talks about cats in Egypt like they were a thing.
Well,
they were a
snakes
big
aren't
thing.
rodents, but sure.
You know what I mean. But there was also dog burials in Egypt as well. Egyptians loved their pets. And I came across a really interesting article where they found a graveyard of animal bones from Egypt from about 2,000 years ago. It was a cemetery that had 585 animals in it, and about 90% of those were cats. Some had collars or necklaces decorated with glass or shells. One apparently was laid to rest on the wing of a large bird.
Ooh.
Couldn't find any further info about that. I was like, what kind of bird? What is this about? Couldn't find any info. Dogs in this cemetery made up about 5% of burials, but many of the dogs that they found were old. They had arthritis and they had worn down teeth and worn down joints,
Aw.
suggesting that people
babies.
cared for these animals, feeding them and taking care of them well into their twilight years.
Oh, baby puppy.
Oh, sure,
And
baby.
that to me suggests, pets for sure. Like if you're taking care of an animal that doesn't have any utility for you, that is your baby boy. That is your pet.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the cemetery was located just outside of the city walls, and it was found under a Roman trash dump from later in time. So it was this Egyptian animal cemetery that got covered up, and then when the Romans were in town, they used that area for a trash dump. But it made the space really ambiguous when they were first excavating it, because they were like, were these animals and the trash dump like synonymous with each other? They weren't quite sure. But they did later determine that the animal cemetery was earlier in time than the trash dump.
I now hate the Romans because they put trash all over a bunch of pets.
I don't
I
think
don't like that.
they knew it was there, but The Romans, I mean, they don't need our
Someone
sympathy.
knew.
If
Someone
there's anything
knew.
that I learned from reading Stephen King novels, it's that you don't mess around with a pet cemetery.
Also in the cemetery, they found monkeys. It says, the article I read said young monkeys imported from India. They were the monkeys, and they found some cats also that were laid to rest in woolen blankets, sometimes next to large jugs like amphoras or large shells. Is this the world's first pet cemetery? I don't know, but it's certainly an old one.
It is definitely a pet cemetery.
It's
Yeah,
definitely a pet
absolutely.
cemetery. The fact that they had monkeys in there is crazy because you really shouldn't be keeping monkeys as pets. I don't know why you would want one. But that was kind of a thing that I saw. Egyptians, Romans, and Greek societies were all known to import monkeys as pets.
Huh.
I mean, it's like a little hairy man who jumps around and does tricks. What's not to love?
Yeah, and then they nonstop chitter and they pee in their hands and rub it all over their bodies and run all over your house and they throw poop at you.
So they're children.
I saw
Probably
that,
be able to know.
and I saw that mostly it's kind of thought that they only kept monkeys when they were small, and then once they got too old and they became dangerous, they were either killed or sent away, or they died because keeping a monkey is actually kind of hard. I saw them reference Barbary apes, which like isn't a thing. The closest thing to that would be Barbary macaques. So they probably had macaques. And then they said that there were Ethiopian monkeys, quote unquote. And I don't know what kind of monkey that's referring to, but one of the most famous monkeys out of Ethiopia is the gelada baboon. And if these people have baboons, oh, that is so freaking scary. Do not keep a baboon. Their teeth are so big.
That's weird, yeah. And their butts are way too red.
Yeah, that's a different species of baboon, but I think your point still stands.
Just let me have that one.
So I thought that was really interesting that there was like a specific pet cemetery for people to lay to rest. They're good friends of dogs and cats. The place that it was found was a port city. So that's another reason why people think that maybe cats were more popular, because with ports and boats, there are lots of rats, and then you need a lot of cats. Cats on rats on cats. Moving forward a little bit more in time. So we were talking about cats being scamps, and it turns out that cats are just scamps. They always have been, and they always will be. One of the things that spurred this podcast was a thing that I have seen before, but it's a 14th century book that is, one of the pages has little kitty cat paws and smeared ink. So it was in 14th century in Croatia, and this person was writing, and a little kitty cat decided to jump up, and I'm gonna send a pic for you guys to see.
I've seen this before. A little kitty print.
The little kitty cat prints. And the person who found it, his name is Amir Filipovic, who is a PhD student at the university who was looking through the archives, said a quote that I think represents why I love this so much. So I'll read it. The photo of the cat paw prints represents one such situation which forces the historian to take his eyes off of the text for a moment, to pause and recreate in his mind the incident when a cat, presumably owned by the scribe, pounced first on the ink container and then the book, branding it for the ensuing centuries. You can almost picture the writer shooing the cat away in a panicky fashion while trying to remove it from his desk. Despite his best efforts, the damage was already complete, and there was nothing else he could have done but turn a new leaf and continue his job. And in that way, this little episode was archived in history.
So cute. We've
That's
got Barnaby permanently left his mark on our old house because I was staining wood on the porch, and he walked across the stain and left little stainy footprints on the threshold to the door going inside.
There was one perfect little stained cat paw print in the entryway.
He knew what he was doing. He knew exactly
that
what he
cat
was doing.
loves to get into, if he knows what he's not supposed to be in, and that's the only place he ever wants to be.
That goes back to cats being social engineers. They know exactly what they're doing. They know they're assholes, but they also know you're going to love them, so they can get away with it.
And later in this book with the cat paw prints on it, the scribe wrote, "Here nothing is missing, but a cat urinated on this during the night. Cursed be the pesty cat that urinated all over this book. Because of it, many others did too. And beware not to leave open books at night where cats can come."
I love it.
And that's not the only piece of text that we have from history that have kitty cat paws on them. There's a 13th century Hebrew manuscript with little oily cat prints. So cat walked through the oil and then walked across the pages. And then there's a few Japanese manuscripts that have little kitty cat paw prints in the ink. And I saw a couple of instances of cats, because cats in libraries and scriptoriums were really important because rodents would come and eat the pages, all of the paper. And so they would keep the rodent populations at bay. But also there are instances of cats nibbling on the pages of manuscripts and ruining them.
Oh my God, that's so cute. What little jerks. I love them.
So even going back to like the 14th century, cats be nibbling. We have a cat that likes to chew on things, and he chewed a couple of Zach's very expensive records.
Oh, no.
He did.
The records themselves were fine, but the packaging had little teeth marks on it.
The sleeves are a little goofed up. R.I.P. my vintage pressing of Out of Step.
And in researching this podcast, I also found that there are so many instances of Roman tiles and bricks with cat and dog prints on them, because you would have to leave the bricks out to dry and they would just walk over them. This one in particular is my favorite. It's one that was laid on its side to dry. So it was laid on its skinny side, standing up, and a little kitty cat jumped on the top of it, and you could see its little kitty paws in there.
Oh, it was just jumping up to hang out. Like, hey, what's up? I'm a cat. I'm going to look what's up here.
And then it probably got little mud on its paws and was like, me.
Yeah, me.
I just love how you could perfectly see how it, like, you could just see it in your mind, this brick on its side and a little kitty cat being a little scamp and jumping up there.
Yeah. Oh, Beau, my mom responded to the video of Guillermo, and she said, LOLOL. So
Guillermo.
there's that.
It's one more view of the thousands upon thousands of views it already has.
Probably millions.
Probably millions, I would think, yeah.
I found some
Yeah, it's probably millions.
re-upload on YouTube. Where did the original video come from anyway?
My mother's TikTok.
What a hip mom you have.
Oh yeah, so hip.
Do you mean mom?
Oh yeah.
Call back.
Speaking of there is a brick from the city of that has a dog print on it.
Love it.
Tell me
So
about it,
good.
baby.
It is a fired clay brick from the ziggurat at So a ziggurat is kind of like a pyramid. They were really big back in Mesopotamia. Ziggurats were all the rage to build. It's from the ziggurat at in the 3rd dynasty of in the 21st century BC. And it is stamped with the name and titles of the Sumerian king Ur-Nammu. But in the process of drying, a little puppy pup just walked right across it.
I love that. For reference, for people who just listened to our previous episode, that's about 300 years before Eanitzir started his shitty copper business.
So this dog did not know Eanitzir, but there were dogs probably still in Ur at that time.
Oh,
love
definitely.
I love it so much.
And this is just like these little paw print, like, I just love seeing them because it's nice that pets don't change,
Mm-hmm.
And this was looking a little bit more about, the relationships between pets and humans. And it turns out in Celtic, Iranian, Roman, and Nordic societies, dogs all had a special mythic or symbolic meaning of messengers of the dead. So specifically in Nordic and Roman societies, dogs were often seen as messengers of the dead, living on the border between the living and the dead, or symbolic of the transformation of life to death. And I wonder if that's because dogs die faster than we do.
Oh,
I don't want to think about that.
no.
But they were highly revered.
When I was in Peru, a lot of the old ruins and archaeological sites that we visited had populations of the local hairless dogs that lived there, and like the people who took care of the sites would feed them and do all that stuff and take care of them and encourage them. And it was believed that they were the ones who they gave company to the dead who were living at the site. So same thing.
So in Peru as well.
Yeah, they either accompanied, I don't remember the specifics, but they either kept them company or accompanied them to the afterlife or something like that. But it was encouraged to have these, and they were so cute. They were hairless, except for some of them who had mohawks. They were great.
It's like the movie Coco. That's like the little spirit dog in the movie Coco.
Yeah, except that was Mexico, not Peru. But
Oh, sorry.
Wow.
look at you thinking that all Latin American countries are the same.
They're not.
No, I was saying wow to you, Zach.
Yeah.
Well, it was a hairless dog, so
Yeah,
I feel a little bit
being
vindicated.
being mean to Ash.
Yeah. Wow. Why don't you
How
go
dare-
tell us?
wow.
Tell us more long stories about your life. Go.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be mean.
It wasn't me. They're just
I'm sorry
razzing
for
you.
being mean.
I know. I'm just razzing. We're doing a little razzle dazzle.
They're doing a little razzle dazzle on you.
Who's wrestling?
I'm sorry. I have
dazzling.
difficulty with social interactions
Let's be real.
sometimes.
I'm always dazzling.
You can't dull my sparkle. I saw a really interesting article about dogs that were found buried in Nordic boats.
Oh, I like that.
As because there's a tradition of boats being used to like ferry people to the afterlife. And so they found a few dogs interred with grave goods inside of boats, which people think is because of this symbolism of the dogs being on the border of the living and the dead and helping people in the afterlife.
I like that. I like that a lot.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
It's
it's
pretty cool.
And then there was another thing that I always see about pets in history is Roman dog burials. We razzed Zach about talking about dead dogs, but I will talk about dead dogs a little bit. But
dogs die.
There are many different Roman burials that are as ornate and lovely as if they were for family members, but they are dogs. Because dogs are
100%.
part of your family.
If that ever does happen, which it won't, because my dogs are immortal and nothing will ever happen to them and they're perfect.
Yeah,
if that ever
absolutely.
would happen, though,
Yeah, of
it's
course.
like, yeah, I'm going all out.
And so I'll read some of the inscriptions on there in a bit. But first, I want to hit you with a couple dumpity chumpities.
Ooh.
So Romans were big on dogs, but they used dogs for hunting a lot. And they have evidence from this one Roman expert on hunting dogs. His name was Nemesianus. And he had the best way to suggest how to pick a puppy from the litter. How do you know which puppy is the right one to choose for your dog? So dump or chump, just two options. What did Nemesianus suggest is the best way to choose a puppy from the litter? A, let the mother choose. Take away her puppies and surround them with an oil-soaked string set on fire. The mother will jump over the ring of flames and rescue each puppy one by one in order of merit. Or B, test their strength early. Take each puppy to the aqueduct and throw them in. The puppy who
No.
survives the longest is the strongest of the litter and will make a fine hunting companion.
I refuse to answer this. I'm
Both
not.
of these
no.
just involve putting dogs
These are
in
fucking
danger.
horrible.
All right. He's not answering A. Because
That is correct.
Thank you.
They lit a
What
fucking
was
ring
your
of
reason?
fire around dogs.
Because that seemed the less
Puppies.
sadistic.
Let's-
That's
let's-
why.
So just this one man suggested that you should take all the puppies away, surround them with an oil-soaked string set on fire, and let the mother choose which one that she wants to
But then the mom
save.
gets burned.
Yeah, no, but mother knows best.
She knows which one
You're
is the
hurting
strongest.
the mother dog. That's fucking. I hate this. I hate this so much. Now I'm mad.
I'm sorry.
Before I was all happy, and then I got like now I'm sad and mad
All right.
and angry.
Maybe this one will make you less sad and mad. Two dumps and a chump. I'm going to hit you with another one right off the bat. What were other traits that Nemesianus thought would make a good dog?
This fucking guy.
Fucking guy.
So this is two dumps and a chump. There is one. You're looking for the one incorrect.
Yeah, throw it off a cliff, and if it flies, it's good.
A, they should have soft and round ears. Upright ears are fine, but the best ears flop over just a bit. B, the dog's eyes should be loving and kind, giving you the feeling of gazing into a loved one's eyes when they are met. Or C, the dog's coat, whether long or short, ought to be shiny, dense, and soft.
So one of these is true.
One of these is incorrect. Two are true, one is false.
I'm gonna go with the third one because, like, everyone loves floppy ear, and everyone loves a dog that like looks at you and gives you a little side eye. So I'm gonna say the third one's incorrect.
I thought it was the first one incorrect. Big ears, pointy ears, so hey, you can hear well.
And all ears are
Hmm.
great too. So yeah, you might actually be right.
Zach, do you know?
I don't know. I think that the floppy ears one is the one that I most want to be true.
So which one do you think is incorrect?
What was the last one again?
The dog's coat, whether
Coat.
long or short, ought to be shiny, dense, and soft.
That's true. I mean, a healthy coat is a shiny coat.
Okay, I think that the floppy ear one is probably incorrect.
The incorrect answer is B. Nemesianus thought that dogs should have soft and round ears. Upright ears are fine, but the best flop over just a bit. He thought that they should have shiny, dense, and soft coats. He also made mention of them having long and slender necks, best to hold a collar, and legs that were longer, back legs that were longer than front legs, meaning that they will be fast runners and good hunters.
What the fuck does he know? He lights dogs on fire.
Yeah,
So-
it tracks on his end because he doesn't want to look him in the eyes while he's trying to light him on fucking fire.
Well, he doesn't
Fuck
light
these
the
guys.
dogs
He
on
just
fire.
lit
He
the
just
string
puts
on
them in a
fire.
situation
He
where it's
puts
very
them in a
easy
situation
for
where
them
the
to
fire
get
around them,
kicked
and the
on
mother
fire.
is made of fur, which is flammable, and then he makes her jump over the flames. No, fuck that.
He also
sorry,
said
I
he
didn't
also said
burn
a
the people.
string.
I just burnt the building down, not the people inside it. Sorry, Mr. Firefighter.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Oh my god.
Oh my god! I just lit the building. The people inside it. That's their fault for being there.
Guns don't kill people. It's the bullet.
That's true.
I do think that's a messed up way to choose the puppy. Like, just choose the puppy that you think is the cutest. Like,
The gunshot victim didn't die from being shot. They died from cardiac arrest and organ failure. Like, he's an idiot.
but he did think that dogs should have soft round ears that flop over a little bit and a nice little shiny coat that's very soft.
While I agree
Yeah.
with him, I also I want to kill him. I want to kill this guy.
I'm gonna send him a clay tablet, and I'm
sending him a clay tablet. It's going to be the rudest clay tablet
Listen, you shit
you've ever
bucket.
read.
Listen.
Where do you
You
get up?
should
You feel
fucking
like a big
fuck.
man, baby boy?
And so now let me bring us down even further and read some
Oh,
of
God.
my favorite inscriptions on Roman dog burials that I found.
As long as they're not on fire, I think you probably can't go any lower.
To Helena, foster child, soul without comparison and deserving of praise.
That's great.
The dog's name was Helena.
I love it.
That's really
My
cute.
favorite,
That's
My
a cute
Chemical
name for a
Romance
dog.
song.
The next one, I'm not sure how to pronounce this name. It's Mya. I think it's Maya
Sure.
or Mia. Mia never barked without reason, but now he is silent.
Oh, little buddy.
Mm.
This one makes me cry too. I am in tears while carrying you to your last resting place, as much as I rejoiced when bringing you home in my own hands 15 years ago.
Oh, that's an old pup. That's good. That's a nice long life for that pup.
Yeah. And then this one,
He's
I
big.
might actually cry when reading it because it's really sad. My eyes were wet with tears, our little dog, when I bore thee to the grave. So Patricus, the dog's name is Patricus.
Oh.
Never again shall thou give me 1,000 kisses. Never canst thou
Aw.
be contentedly in my lap. In sadness I have buried thee, and thou deservest. In a resting place of marble I have put thee for all time by my side in the shade. In thy qualities thou were like a human being. Ah me, what a loved companion we have lost.
Oh, little buddy. A bunch of
Aw.
kisses. Where were these written?
1,000 kisses.
On their tombs.
Okay, so it was on yeah, okay.
It's like
I love it.
engraved on their tombs. And this one was
I
made
love
out of
that kid.
marble.
I love that
He
puppy.
really loved Patricus.
yeah.
Patricus was a
hell
well-loved
yeah.
little pup.
And what a
Patricus gave
great
the
name.
kisses
I'm so sorry. Patricus is a
earned-
great
I know,
name.
Patricus is a great name for a dog.
Patrick is a really great name.
I imagine like Patricus like gets into some shit. Like Patricus. And he's like,
Oh,
"No, it's me."
Patricus, what are you doing? Oh,
You little
And he's just
skibble.
like,
Apparently, Patricus was
Aw.
known for giving 1,000 kisses and contentedly sitting in their lap.
Oh,
Oh,
but
sweet, sweet baby.
he's a good boy.
So the next time that you're sitting with your dog or your cat contentedly in your lap, think about how many thousands of years of human history that one particular human experience has been repeated.
That's so nice.
The Greeks also really liked their pets. Alexander the Great, little known guy named Alexander the Great.
Who's
He
this guy? I've
apparently
never heard of him. What's so great about him?
he was pretty great. He apparently really loved his pets. He honored his faithful dog Peritus, and he named a city after him.
Amazing.
He also had a horse named Bucephalus, and he named a city after the horse too, after the horse died in battle.
What does Bucephalus mean?
That's a good question.
Horse.
I don't know. In Greek and Roman writings, we see writers remind their readers to praise their canine companions. Arrian, the biographer of Alexander the Great, he wrote a good, great treatise on hunting. But in one of his writings, he says, "You should pat one's dog, caress its head, pulling gently on the ears, and speak its name along with a hearty word or two. Well done, a good girl," by the way of encouragement.
Love it.
And he says, after all, dogs enjoy being praised just as noblemen do.
Oh, puppy. They do. They really do. I read something recently. Me and my wife had this very long conversation about this, about petting dogs on the head. Somebody wrote an article saying that dogs don't like to be pet on the head. They just accept it and just like go with it, which is fucking bullshit. Every dog loves getting pets on the head and behind the ear. Whenever I scratch my dog's little head, you should see his face. He's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh, well, I
great.
think what it is that if a dog is wary of you and you immediately try to put your hand like over its head, it makes it really nervous. So you should more come in from the side because it makes them feel safer.
That's fine, but this person was talking about just like all dogs in general, which
I don't think
was
that's
a total
true,
lie.
because I know a
Wherever
lot of
we read this on the
dogs-
internet. If you're listening to this, you are a fucking asshole.
Bucephalus means ox head.
Oh, I did read that.
But it's a
Apparent-
horse.
Apparently, he had a very big head.
Oh,
Classic.
big boy.
Even as a tiny pony, he was like, "Yo, that's a big fucking head."
And
Bucephalus.
he was vicious and unmanageable. And Alexander was the only person who he let ride him.
And
Kinda
then
nice.
he fought bravely and got a city named after him.
Yeah, he lived to be 30.
That's pretty old for
How
a
many
horse.
cities? How many cities are you named after?
I'm named
No.
after 0 cities, and I have 0
Yeah,
cities
me
named
too.
after me.
Yeah, it's because my head wasn't big enough.
I don't know, man. You've got a pretty big head.
You have a pretty big noggin over there.
What?
Comes with being tall.
I've seen your head. It's sizable.
Do you have
It's
to
a
buy
bit-
special hats?
It's a big head.
No,
It's a big head.
I've never had to buy anything special for my head.
Well, no,
I have very long arms and I have 60% legs, but I've never once heard someone say that my head is big.
Big head.
Oh no,
Yeah, look at this guy with his big head.
yeah, big old noggin.
I mean, it's just because you're tall. Tall people have
You're
big
tall.
heads. It's fine. Yeah,
We're
I'm
both
tall.
tall.
My head's
It's
head's
fine.
gigantic.
Just accept it. And you
I
have a lot
have
of
to
hair
buy like an
too,
inch
so
taller
your
than
head
I
gets
am.
big.
I've
You guys
I
are
have to buy
amazing.
special
Actually,
hats.
we have this conversation every single time we meet each other.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
like,
pretty sure
"Who's
you're taller than me.
I always forget. Whenever
I
you
do
leave,
think-
I'm like, okay.
I do think, Andrew, you are like a scooch taller.
Oh my god, that means my head's bigger.
Oh, no.
Got all this brain power in here. It's not being used.
You bucephalic bitch.
And I saw a little funny, I mean, that's basically all I had just through, those were kind of my favorite examples that I saw of pets being pets, you know, animals through time, people hanging out with their pets and loving them. Although I did see something funny that was, for some reason, cats became demonized in Europe in the Middle Ages. They became synonymous with witches and the devil, and a lot of cats were killed in an effort to ward off evil.
Hey, I'm gonna make a controversial statement here. I think that sucks.
Let me guess. Because
Yeah, it was
of the
it was
fucking
because
church.
of, yeah, the
Was it
church.
because of the church?
And their
The
hate
church just
for
ruins
pagans.
everything. Why do they hate on everything? Oh man.
Ironically, it is possible that the lack of cats in the area during the time helped to actually spread the bubonic plague, because the bubonic plague was carried by rats, and because they killed off all of the cats, there was not enough cats to kill the rats. And so
yeah,
they
the
think
rat
that it
population was not at
may
bay.
have contributed to spreading the bubonic plague in Europe in this time.
100%.
So that's what you freaking, they
100%.
didn't
Not
take,
even a
they,
question. That's
Yeah.
if you take away the tools,
they didn't listen to the Egyptians in that it's good luck to have cats around, and they had the worst luck of all because they died horribly and painfully.
Yeah, idiots.
It's their own fault. That's literally you caused this, and then you.
And now you will pay. It wasn't until the 1600s that the cat's image in Europe started to turn around. Freaking Europeans just ruin everything.
Dude, they really did. Like the whole like the Crusades or whatever. I know it's fucked up.
Yeah.
And like
Monotheism.
Henry, all King Henrys were just like killing all the
Garbage.
wives and stuff.
Hey, he only killed like 3.
Which is the one that killed like a bunch of them.
Well, King Henry VIII did, but he had 6 wives. Divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. That's what happened to his wives.
Beheaded and then survived, or is this just two different people?
The first one he divorced, the second one he beheaded, the third one died in childbirth.
That's his fault.
The next one he divorced, the next one he beheaded, and then the last one survived him.
Okay, the childbirth one's definitely his fault because he was making her do this because he wanted a boy. And then also I hate him.
I mean, so yeah, he only killed 3 of his wives, but that's 3 more than most people do.
I have killed 0 of my wives.
He killed
Yeah,
2
exactly.
of his
I
wives.
haven't.
Okay, well, that's 2 more than most people kill.
He
I
thought
mean,
about killing the third one.
He was like, yeah, it's going to happen. But then it happened in childbirth. And he was like, oh, well, let's kill 2 birds with one stone.
I can do an episode on King Henry VIII if you want.
You probably should because like that guy's a dick, but it's like also good to learn about, that shit.
Interesting little period in history.
I am pretty sure that you could do a Henry VIII episode with 0 prep time.
That's not
You're
true.
right now.
I
Welcome to
don't.
the King Henry.
I don't remember a lot of facts.
10
But yeah,
minutes.
that's all I have about pets in history. Just a bunch of instances of cats being little scamps walking across manuscripts and jumping on bricks and drying clay tablets and stuff, and cats and dogs are just going to be cats and dogs, and they always were, and they always will be. As I look over at my little sweet cat sleeping right now, the same image that so many humans across history saw.
Wow, he's really calmed down from earlier when he was trying desperately to ruin my audio.
He's a good boy. So,
He's such a good boy.
My favorite thing that I learned about the podcast is how much I fucking hate that guy with the fire.
Nemesianus.
I learned to rage. I hate that guy. I hope that he accidentally lit himself on fire while playing his stupid fucking Saw games with these puppies.
These poor little puppies.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Zach.
Oh, no, I can't interrupt Beau again.
No, go ahead. Just go ahead. Go.
What was your favorite thing you learned, Beau?
Well, let Zach go first. Let him go first.
Are you just going to steal whatever Zach says?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you have to go first.
I choose pass.
You're being a real shit bucket.
Yeah,
All right, Zach, what'd you learn?
Okay. Well, I'll go. My favorite thing is cats have always been dicks and like to get on stuff they don't need to get on. Fucking messing up the stuff. Classic cats.
Yep. Classic kitty behavior.
No matter how many years
Classic
ago,
kitty.
cats will always be cats.
Yeah, I was going to say specifically my favorite thing was how the cat peed on the book.
First, he
You gotta
walked
go.
all over it, and
You
then
gotta
he
go.
peed on it. One
I
time,
love it. It was great.
when I was a kid, I had a big deal project with a poster board, and I left it on the floor, and my dog pooped on it overnight.
Ah,
And I had to tell my teacher that my dog pooped on my homework, and they did not believe me. And my mom had to come into the school and be like, I will bring you the poop stained poster board if you want, but this is the truth.
I would have brought it with me the first time. Be like, hey, smell it.
I put it in the trash,
There's dog
so
poop.
I didn't want to bring it in the car.
Oh man! All right, well that's fucking awesome. Unless you guys have anything else for us, Zach, you want to take us out?
Beau, what was your dog's name?
I'm talking to you.
I like that this is happening because it's causing turmoil for the next episode, and that's usually our best episodes when you two just start bickering at each other.
Thanks to everyone listening for ignoring the fact that Beau and Zach pretend like they don't like each other.
They love each other.
But for real, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. I hope that you like learning
Yeah.
about pets.
Yeah. His name was Buster.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great
Buster.
Yeah.
That's a good name. Take us out, Zach.
name.
He was a
All
box.
right.
He was a boxer. He died. You want to know what year
Yeah,
he died too? He died in the
No,
year
just take us out. Just get us
2005. He
Take us
was
out.
sad and old.
Take us out.
Oh my
And now I'm
God.
sad and old. Thanks for reminding me, Zach.
Say
Oh
that.
my
I feel-
God.
now I realize I am Buster. All right, take us out of here.
Okay, that was the episode about pets through history, hosted by our glorious and wonderful host Ash. And so, thank you for listening. If you liked this episode and it didn't make you cry, or if it did make you cry and you like things that make you cry, don't forget to rate and review us online. Tell all your friends about our podcast. Share us in your Discord server. Post about us on Reddit. Say something on Twitter that is nice. And don't forget to send us an email. getdumpedonpodcast@gmail.com. That is the best place to get in touch with us because I would really like to get an email.
It was
Send
sad.
us
'cause I-
pictures of your pets.
Post your pictures of your
sad.
post
Yeah,
pictures of your
send
pets
us
on
pictures of your
Instagram
pets.
and tag us on Get Dumped On after this episode happens, and then we'll.
I had to keep,
Yeah.
we'll
I had to
look
keep
at your
reviving the
pictures.
dog because he kept dying, and then I got sad, so I had to give up and let him die peacefully. Thanks, Zach.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, bye.
Ash and Zach are super smart. They went to college and learned a bunch of stuff. And Beau and Andrew didn't go to college because that's the way life goes sometimes. What happens when you put them together and you try to make them learn? Grab your friends, let's listen together on Get Dumped On an Info Dump Podcast.
Bye.
Why? Oh my God.
Bye.